Happy Father's Day, guys. My name is PsychoKilla, and I'm a content creator and streamer over on twitch.tv/PsychoKilla. I'll put a link in the description below. Today, I'm going to be answering your guys' questions about the new premium German Leopard 2A4 that just dropped in War Thunder Major Update Danger Zone. I'll be briefly going over the vehicle's features, strengths, and weaknesses, and whether or not I think you should buy it, so stick around. Before we get started, consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking the bell so you get notified whenever I post a video. It does help me tremendously as I am in the very early growth stages of my YouTube channel. Alright, let's get into it. So what is the Leopard 2 PzBtl and what are its stats? Well, sitting at 10.0, it is the highest rated premium vehicle in the game. It is also the highest rated tank in the game with a camo net. The Leopard 2 PzBtl is borderline identical to the tech tree Leopard 2A4. PzBtl has access to a very competitive gun, the L44. However, it does lack in penetration with DM23 as its top round, which only has 410 millimeters of penetration, compared to the 10.0 T80B, which has 457 millimeters of pen, and the American 10.3 120mm guns that have 491 millimeters of pen. And since I've mentioned the American 10.3, something I want to point out with the PzBtl is the likelihood of being up-tiered to 11.0. At this BR, your armor is pretty much going to fail you every time, especially if your enemies are using top-tier rounds. Most vehicles this tank will face are gonna have enough pen to go right through your lower plate. However, the design of the PzBtl makes it a very survivable tank. Even at 11.0 and taking damage, there's a pretty good chance you're only going to lose 1 or 2 crew members, which means you'll be able to take cover, repair, come back, and continue farming XP and Silver Lions. Speaking of Silver Lions, let's talk about the real reason why you would consider buying this premium deal. Experience and Silver Lions. Say it again. Experience and Silver Lions. This tank has a whopping 678% boost, which is the same as the 9.7 Terms T, and 435% boost to Silver Lions, which is 15% less than the Terms T and 15% less than the German Leopard A1A1 L44, which is also a German premium. The PzBtl can pretty much do everything. It can flank with its great mobility. It can snipe with its great gun. It can take damage in a brawl. It is a very well-rounded vehicle, but it does have some pretty obvious flaws. First and foremost, it's German, and everybody knows Germany suffers. The second, really only a factor in an up tier, is its armor. While it is sufficient in most situations, it just isn't going to keep you protected from some of those top tier rounds. I would recommend keeping your lower plate as hidden as possible in almost all situations. Thirdly, I would say it's the first gen thermals for me. We are pretty used to them at this point, but it's a 10.0, so I did expect a little bit better. Some of you might argue that thermal sights in general are a positive, and I would agree with you, but I just have to reiterate that it's 10.0, and I expected better. So now that we've gone over all the features from the gun to the armor, the camo netting, thermal sights, and XP and SL bonuses, let's rate the features of the Leopard 2 PzBtl on a scale of 1 to 5. Let's start with mobility. I'm going to give mobility a 4.5 out of 5. It has a great turret traverse speed and a power to weight ratio that makes this thing a nimble warrior. You can get into a sneaky spot and out of a sticky situation really quickly with its awesome reverse gear. The armor I'm going to give 4 out of 5, but only at 10.0 and below, maybe to 10.3, but at 11.0, you're going to get bullied with top tier rounds from tanks like the T80 series and the American Abrams series. While this tank is very capable of doing so much, I would recommend playing a support or sniper role in most up tier situations. Now for survivability. I give survivability a 5.5 out of 5. I rarely get one tapped in this thing. Most times I take critical damage I either lose my driver or I lose my loader and gunner. In either situation, I always get a fighting chance. I can always come back. I can turn my turret or I can move my tank. Whatever I need to do, I always get another chance. Now, firepower. I have a lot to say about firepower. I'm giving firepower a 3.5 out of 5. It's got a phenomenal gun, but a mediocre round with mediocre penetration at best. The only reason this is the lowest score is simply because of the likelihood of being up-tiered in this tank. You just can't compete with rounds of other top-tier tanks at mid to long range distances. If you're familiar with top-tier tanks and weak spots, you might feel like the score deserves a little bump, but for anyone trying to get the first taste of top-tier gameplay, you'll probably notice a lot of balances or non-pens in an up-tier. Overall, I rate this tank a 4.25 out of 5. It is a very well-rounded tank, and in my opinion, very balanced. There isn't really anything that makes this tank overpowered, and it pairs incredibly well with its tech tree sister tank, the Leopard 2A4. I think this would make a great XP or SL farmer, or a great first buy for anyone looking to progress their German tech tree. So to answer your question, Psycho, should I buy the Leopard 2 PzBtl 123? I replied, yes. Yes, I think you should buy it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it useful, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing, as it does help me grow and get on the YouTube algorithm. I also want to give a shout out to Tankenstein, as I did try to emulate his review video about the premium Leopard 2A4 in a more condensed version. I'll put a link to his review video down in the description. So comment down below and let me know if this video helps you make a decision about buying the Leopard 2, and be sure to let me know what kind of content you'd like to see from me in the future. See you in the next one.